Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Property Sue if you're new here. And on this channel we talk about real estate and real estate related matters. And today we are going to be discussing about the law of succession. We did not know it has been recently amended, and the reasons for amendment are to ensure equality in inheritance across all genders. And all this law now narrows down the list of dependents as opposed to the one that was there. And it also ensures that if you're a widow or a widower, and in case you remarry, you lose all your rights to the things you had inherited from your deceased partner. Before I begin, I want to clearly state that if you are Muslim, this law does not apply to you because you will be governed by the Muslim law. So in this video, I'm going to try and avoid using law terms because I'm not a lawyer, and I know you also want to have a better understanding from layman's point of view. And in case of a person's death, the inheritance of their movable property is regulated by the law of the country in which they currently live. And in some cases, you're going to hear lawyers using the term domicile. Domicile means where a person physically lived and regarded as home. Before we get into the law, before anything is done, after someone passes on, the first thing that is going to determine where their property goes is their will. And lawyers are going to say the will always takes precedence. So if there is no will, then the following laws apply. Or in case there is a will and somebody feels they want to contest the will, then the following laws apply. Previously, before the bill was amended, there were lists of dependents and people who qualified as dependents, and these were the wife or wives of the deceased and his or her children, whether the children are stepchildren, grandchildren, and also people who are being taken care of by the deceased before his time of death. And this include like people who lived with him as relatives, or let's say for instance you went adopted a child somewhere, or you took in somebody to your household and you've been maintaining them. That was also considered as a dependent. Apart from that, there was the list of brothers and sisters, there was the list of parents. Also, in case the deceased was a woman, the husband was considered as a dependent only if he had evidence that he was being maintained by his wife prior to her death. And in this new law, in order to ensure that there is gender equality, then there is no need for a man to prove that his wife had been maintaining him prior to her death, and which is also the same for our wife. But where the twist comes in is that you have to be legally married to your spouse in order to be a considered dependent. For instance, let us say you're there at home, you're in a come-we-stay relationship, you're not legally married, or you have done a traditional wedding ceremony. Then in these cases, you will not be considered your husband's wife. The only way you're going to be considered your husband's wife is if your marriage has been celebrated under religious faiths that are recognized in Kenya, and which simply means a white wedding. So if you haven't had a white wedding, or if you have not gone to the AG's office and had a wedding there, then you will not be considered as a spouse who is eligible for inheritance. And this now rules out cases of people who used to come up, side chicks who used to come up during burial ceremonies with children, claiming that the children belonged to the deceased. From this year, 2021, side chicks and Ben 10s, everybody who is not legally married to their spouse is not considered a dependent, and dependents are considered as the wife or wives and husband and children of the deceased. So if you don't fall under that category, you are not considered a dependent, but there's a provision for you to contest the case in court if you don't fall under that category, provided you provide evidence that the deceased had been maintaining you for a period of more than 2 years before his passing. So I thought you should know this. It's important to know when laws have been amended, and so you know your rights, so you know what you're supposed to do to put your life in order, or that of your kids, or that of your husbands, or that of your wives in order, just in case you pass on. And you're not legally married to your spouse, and maybe it's because you haven't gotten to that point of a wedding yet, it's better you write a will and have it in place, so that you never know, if in case you pass on, then the will is going to decide who takes what. And this means that let's say in case you're a woman and you go and start living with a man who had been previously married, who has not yet gotten a divorce, and then God forbid the man passes on, whether or not the man was maintaining his wife and his kids, all the inheritance belongs to the wife and the kids. So it's very important to set things right at this point, to know that once you start maintaining somebody, they might one day come claim your wealth, saying that you are supporting them, that they are your dependent. And it's always good to know what the law says, so that if you have any problems, if you want to contest anything, you understand your rights before going to court. And that has been it for today. Thank you for watching this video till the end. And if you're not conversant about the will, I will link a video up here that I did on the will and everything that that regards the will. And until next time, guys, it has been your girl Property Sue, and bye.